Today as the daughter of a felon, nor as a victim of an abnormally abusive mother. I come today as a victim of family vlogging.
Shari Franke, the eldest daughter of the infamous Ruby Franke, star of the controversial family vlog 8 Passengers, is back in the headlines, but this time for a much different reason. After years of being thrust into the public eye due to her family's scandalous past, Shari is stepping into a new chapter of her life. She has officially announced her engagement in an emotional Instagram post, but with this announcement comes a powerful statement about her future. Shari is done sharing her personal life with the public. In her Instagram post, Shari proudly showed off her stunning pear-shaped diamond ring with a snow-covered backdrop that painted a picture of new beginnings. But the most telling part of her post wasn't the engagement itself. It was the heartfelt message accompanying the photo. Shari revealed her excitement about the engagement, but also made it clear that this would be her final personal post about her private life. She emphasized that she had spent much of her life with her voice and autonomy stripped away by the pressures of family vlogging, and now she's taking control of her own narrative. Shari stated that she would no longer discuss her wedding, her future husband, or her potential children. While she would continue to be an advocate for children's rights, she made a firm request for privacy moving forward, urging her followers to respect her wishes and not to speculate about her personal life. The announcement immediately sparked mixed reactions online. Many fans and followers expressed support, praising Shari for drawing clear boundaries and putting herself first. But others were quick to question the timing and nature of the post. Some argued that if privacy is truly her goal, why share the engagement news at all? It seemed to some like an odd contradiction, shouting out for privacy while also making a very public announcement. However, others interpreted the post differently, believing it wasn't about teasing or contradiction, but more about showing that Shari is finally in a place where she feels secure, loved, and ready to move on from the painful experiences of her past. This moment marks a significant shift for Shari, whose life has been marked by tragedy and trauma from the moment her family's vlog went viral.
I was fully aware that I was an employee. The business was successful when I was happy or when I shared my hardships with the world.
Shari has been candid about the emotional toll that growing up in front of millions has taken on her. In her testimony to Utah lawmakers earlier this year, she spoke about the damaging impact of family vlogging, calling it a form of constant labor that stole her childhood innocence. She shared how friends distanced themselves from her because they didn't want to be on camera, and how the pressure of social media and cruel public scrutiny deeply affected her mental health. Her testimony highlighted how her family's vlogging empire was built on exploitation, and it's clear that Shari has spent much of her life yearning to escape that world. Of course, there's also the looming impact of Ruby Franke's arrest for child abuse in 2023. Shari described it as a moment of long-awaited justice after years of attempting to alert authorities to the abuse that was taking place in her home. Ruby's incarceration has raised more questions than answers, especially with the upcoming prospect that she won't be eligible for parole until December 2026. By that time, it's likely that Shari will have moved on with her life, married with a family of her own, while her mother remains behind bars. This new chapter for Shari feels like a powerful turning point, as she actively distances herself from the chaos and pain of her past, reclaiming control over her future. While the majority of the response to Shari's post has been positive, some have criticized her for sharing her engagement if her intention is to keep things private.
It became scarce because dates were filmed and none of my friends wanted to be on camera.
One comment read, "I don't understand why you're even sharing it at all if you want privacy." These critics feel that Shari's announcement is somewhat contradictory and see it as a form of teasing, telling people she's getting engaged, but then asking for privacy, as if she can't have it both ways. Others, however, pointed out that Shari is likely sharing this moment with the world to show that after all the darkness and turmoil, she has found a happy ending. She wants to assure her followers that she's in a healthy, loving relationship, and that she's moving forward in her life, free from the chains of her past. The reality is that Shari's life has never been simple. From the trauma of growing up in a toxic family dynamic to the public scrutiny that followed her every move, Shari has long been a figure under intense pressure. Her decision to step away from the spotlight marks a bold new step toward healing and building a future on her terms. Whether or not her followers agree with the decision to make her engagement public, one thing is certain. Shari Franke is reclaiming her narrative, and this time, she's doing it for herself. Big congratulations are in order for Shari Franke, the brave and resilient daughter of Ruby Franke from the infamous 8 Passengers family vlog. Not only did Shari recently announce her engagement, but she also shared a powerful message about reclaiming her privacy after years of her life being publicly scrutinized. It's clear that this is a new chapter for Shari, one where she's focusing on love, joy, and most importantly, her own personal peace. Fans are cheering for her as she steps into this new phase of life, taking back control and choosing privacy for herself and her future family. We can't help but wish her all the best. But here's a juicy twist. Shari's brother, Chad Franke, is the only family member to publicly acknowledge her engagement. However, he did it with a cheeky little joke. On Snapchat, Chad shared the same picture of Shari's hand and engagement ring, but couldn't resist a playful caption, writing, "Big news."
See, there will be legal crises, with these children realizing that vlogging has brought severe emotional distress, or these kids may realize they don't have an appropriate amount of money to show for their labor.
Fans, knowing Chad's been in a long-term relationship with his girlfriend Cam, immediately assumed he was the one who had popped the question to her. Chad had previously hinted in interviews that he was serious about marrying Cam, but after his Snapchat post, the rumor mill went wild. Naturally, Chad had to step back in and clear up the confusion. He quickly clarified, "It was not Cam's wedding ring. My sister got engaged." Talk about a mix-up. Guess he had to deal with a flood of messages after that one. But that's not all. Shari's been busy working on something huge. For over a year, she's been pouring her heart into writing a book titled House of My Mother, which will be released on January 7th, 2025. You can pre-order it now, and fans are buzzing with anticipation. In a recent interview, Shari shared that she hopes her book will teach people not to believe everything they read in the media. She wants her readers to see that there's more to her story than what's been shown in the press, and to find something in her journey they can relate to. The writing process hasn't been easy, though. Shari confessed that her biggest challenge was trying not to write from her current perspective. She had to remind herself of how she felt during the events she recounts in the book, showing how her mindset has evolved over time. On top of everything, she was also diagnosed with PTSD while working on the book. But in a way, she called it good exposure therapy, a way to face the past and heal through her own words. In a truly emotional interview with People, Shari revealed the harrowing moment police showed up to arrest her mother, Ruby, for aggravated child abuse. Her first thought was that her siblings had been harmed, which no doubt reflects the trauma and horror she's endured in her family. Shari explained that she doesn't have a relationship with her mother today and prefers not to discuss her siblings' lives to protect their privacy. Still, she wishes Ruby can get the help she needs.
Reach adulthood, they may not like the way they're being portrayed. Maybe they need to have some control over taking content down off the internet.
In an exclusive excerpt from Shari's upcoming book, she opens up about a gut-wrenching conversation she had with Ruby after she called the police. Shari recalls Ruby's explosive anger as she tried to manipulate the situation, blaming Shari for betraying the family. But Shari stood firm, reminding her mother that her only concern was for the safety of her siblings, not about attention or jealousy. Ruby, of course, twisted the narrative and tried to turn it against Shari, claiming she'd always hated her. But Shari stood her ground, determined to do what was right. Then the two took a final deal. It's clear that Shari's journey hasn't been easy, but she's finally finding her voice and taking back control of her life in a way that's empowering. Whether it's stepping out of the spotlight, sharing her story through her book, or making life-changing decisions for her own well-being, Shari is proving that she's stronger than ever. "I never hated you. Mom, I was just scared of you." Now, that's a bombshell coming from Shari Franke, and it's definitely got the internet buzzing. This latest revelation is part of her big announcement about her engagement and her decision to move forward with her life, this time on her terms, with her privacy firmly intact. The drama keeps unfolding as Shari steps away from the spotlight, but still shares pieces of her journey, especially with her upcoming book. Speaking of which, have you pre-ordered Shari's highly anticipated book yet? House of My Mother drops on January 7th, 2025, and fans are already speculating about what juicy details it'll reveal. Will you be picking it up, or are you still on the fence? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, stay tuned for more drama, updates, and juicy headlines. We'll keep you posted on all the latest. Until next time,